Hey, welcome to today's practice. We're going to be focusing in this class on the transition from Vata season to Kapha season again, because the transition is continuing here in Oregon. It's quite a long transition this year. In fact, this morning we're having hail. We had rain yesterday, now we're having hail again. So hear me reference a couple things that are relevant to this transition. One is, can we grant permission for the mind to come back home? How do we grant permission for the mind not to be beholden to the flitting about of the Vata dosha? Another thing you'll hear me reference is, if the hourglass with the sand in it were like your mind and your body, can you let the grains of sand drop down through the hourglass so that the mind is becoming more clear and the body more grounded? Along the way in class, you're going to also hear me suggest that students pause for a little snapshot of what it's feeling like for them in their mind and their body. And these little pauses are a really important aspect of the practice. We get to see glimpses of ourselves making progress along the way. We're also gathering information from our body intelligence and our body's direct experience of the practice. So in the pause, drop in and try to sense whatever your body can make available to you, as well as your mind, of course. It's a chance to glimpse yourself as if you were watching a seedling start to come up from the ground, and you're getting a sense every day of the delight of that seedling. In fact, you'll hear me talk about seedlings during the class because I've got my starts in the other room. There's about 100 little starts for the garden out there. And as you watch that process for the seedlings, it's actually the same kind of process for us. How are we growing moment to moment through the course of the yoga practice? In this practice specifically, we're going to corkscrew down into the body and then take a special form of shavasana, and then we'll finish with a variation on anuloma pranayama with ujjayi pranayama. So enjoy your practice, and as always, if these videos are helpful to you, please click like on any videos that work for you, leave us a comment or a question below the video, and if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much. I look forward to hearing from you. Enjoy your practice. So good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Welcome back for practice. We will start with a time to sit comfortably and just get more centered. You can think about it as if you were coming down through the hourglass and the sand is dropping down to the bottom. You're letting your mind come down into your body. Okay, so please take a comfortable seat, and you can rest your hands in your lap if you like. You're welcome to close your eyes. My room is a little bit chilly, so I'm going to bundle. When you first take your seat, and even though we're saying like the mind can come down as if through the hourglass, one grain of sand at a time, you may find that your mind needs some permission or some support to do that. So one way that we grant that permission for the mind is actually by closing the eyes and turning your sense of sight more inward. So we release the mind, at least for now, having to navigate the external world through the sense of sight. Another way that we grant permission for the mind to drop into the present and here in the body is we bring the breath into our awareness and grant the breath permission to drop down below the navel, below your belly button. Another way that we grant permission for the mind to be here is that we've taken a seat. Essentially, we're not right now moving about, and we didn't sit down in front of a plate of food or a steering wheel or a computer. And let's imagine that as the sand drops down through the hourglass, that the upper portion of the hourglass becomes more clear, more spacious. It's empty and available. So that would be the quality of the mind that we want to have for practicing yoga. It's empty, it's not already biased or ruminating, it's available. And then the sand is dropping down through this hourglass into the bottom half. We can imagine that the physical body is getting more grounded. If you observe the breath now, just coming and going, notice if geographically the breath is able to touch the pelvic basin and possibly also your pelvic floor. And since you have years of dedicated practice, you may find that you can return. It's kind of a reunion between the breath and the body, and your mind and your base. Now, of course, day to day, it's also possible that you experience some movements, vrittis, the mind, the emotions, and so on. So you may have a sense of dropping down and then getting pulled away. Dropping down and then getting pulled away. So continue to grant permission for your mind to be here, to take a seat right here in the present. You may also think of that as permission for your mind not to have to wander or to solve things or to be hither and thither right now. Noticing whatever quality you have for mental presence or concentration. This is like your preview snapshot. This is how it is before you drop into a more in-depth physical practice, including asana and pranayama. So taking note of that, let's bring the palms together at the heart, please. And we will be chanting Sahana Vavatu, Sahanao Bhunaktu. With your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands and please open your eyes. It just began to hail again outside. And so I'm reminded that we are in this season of transition where we're going between Vata season and Kapha season. And so when it's raining, it's like that's the water coming down. But when it's hail, it's water, it's Kapha with Vata because the water has become frozen. And Vata is of the doshas, it's cold, it's brittle, it's mobile, it's like windy, but it also has this cold quality, cold and brittle. And so hail is more cold and brittle, and then rain is more Kapha dosha, because Kapha is unctuous and smooth. And so we are in the transition season here, at least in Portland, Oregon, at our latitude and at this time of year. So important that we still have a sense of drawing Vata dosha down so that we can make good use of the Kapha dosha. Because if our Vata dosha keeps pulling us away from home, if we're always leaving, the grains of sand have left, they've left the hourglass. If we're always leaving, we don't have the chance to feel this reunion and the sense of the deep benefit of the Kapha dosha, which stores things for us like our vitality, our resilience, our ability for creativity, for generativeness, for rejuvenation, for spontaneity, and the ability to move in a flexible manner through life. Now, Vata can be very, have a lot of frivolity, a lot of novelty, it likes new things, it can go about like this, but when Vata goes out of balance, it actually becomes more rigid. Like if you think of bamboo, when it's green and wonderful, it's going like this. The kapha in the bamboo makes it flexible and resilient in the wind of Vata. When the bamboo becomes dry, which we have a whole barrels of dry bamboo here because we harvested it. When it becomes dry, it's rigid like this. And then even if the wind comes, it still acts as a rigid thing. It might fall over like that, or, it might fall and then roll on the ground because it's become dry. So Vata has that kind of dry, mobile quality, but it can become dry and rigid, right? So like cold, dry, rigid. We don't want that to happen this time of year. We want to be able to drop into the Kapha dosha. So we're going to take this downward movement to land back home. So I'd like you to sit, if it's comfortable for you to sit in Siddhasana, go ahead and do that. If you prefer Sukhasana, of course, we accept. Siddhasana means that you're lining the feet up. So you've got your pelvis and then you've got your feet lined up. So the knees are wider. And that's what I'm looking for, is that your knees will be a little bit wider. Okay, place your hands out over your knees. Let's come into the Ujjayi breath and begin the inhale at the base of the pelvis. As we've been doing, you're going to bring the breath up and open the throat. On the exhale, start at the tailbone and curl down. We did this, I think, last week or the last couple practices. The inhale resembles the cow pose spine or your extension spine. And the exhale reflects the cat pose spine, also called your flexion spine. Inhale, roll through. And exhale, curl down. You're coming in. Inhale, roll through. And as you go up this time, stay up. And on the exhale, rotate your chin to the right and down towards your right shoulder. And then inhale, go up. And exhale, left and down. Inhale, raise back up. And exhale, curl down. And notice actually how good it feels to be able to come back down, that you wouldn't want to stay up there the whole time. So you inhale, raise up. That does lift Vata, and it's wonderful for optimism and enthusiasm. And exhale, go to your right and down. Inhale, go right and up. Exhale, left and down. And inhale left and up. And exhale, curl down. And again, acknowledge that it, in fact, does feel good to go down. And then come to your seat. Okay, let's keep the right hand out over the right knee. Bring your left hand over your right hand. And if you can, hook the left fingers in the right fingers. You're going to have a place of security there. The other option is to place your left hand here and hold it down with your right hand. You can choose which one you prefer. And then inhale, raise up again like you're doing the cow pose. And exhale, curl down and see if you can come into the left lower back, left sideways, left upper back. Inhale, roll the pubic bone down, lift your spine, open your heart and your throat. And exhale, curl down. Inhale, roll through. And exhale, come down one more time. And then return to center. You might feel kind of asymmetrical, like one side of you is vital, the other side is maybe a little bit dull still. So bring your right hand across. You could put your right fingers in the webbing of your left fingers, or you could put the right hand down and the left hand to hold it in place. And then again on the inhale, we're going to go up. And exhale. As you curl down, keep your hands firmly fixed so that you actually are broadening the back of your body. As you inhale to raise up, drop your pubic bone, lift your spine, open your throat. And exhale, curl down. Again, when you rise up, keep the breath smooth so it's not any sense of grasping. When you exhale to come down, you're going to squeeze the exhale out relatively thoroughly, but without a sense of force. And then return to center and just take a moment to notice the snapshot of your mind here. Relative to the snapshot of your mind we had a few minutes back. Now, for the sake of fairness and exploring your own seat, let's switch the feet. Okay, now we're going to be using the back of the hand. So we're going to work with the neck and we're going to find our way down, down, down like this. So the neck and the spine, but we're going to eventually be going down into some deeper twists in the pelvis. But now you take the back of your left hand across the outside of your right knee. And if possible, across the outside of your thigh. So your arms kind of snug up against your torso. Notice that that already causes this movement right here. The left shoulder drops down, the left side waist is shorter. Place your right hand on your left for security. And let's enjoy the tip to the left, the expansion to the right. Bring your chin in towards your throat. And as you let the left ear get a little heavier, lengthen your right shoulder away from your right ear. So in this little side bend that we're doing, you may feel this on the right side of your waist, but you might be primarily feeling it on the right side of your neck. Keep your chin in and rotate your chin down towards your left shoulder. And then rotate your chin towards your right collarbone. We're going to keep the chin snug, so your neck is in flexion right now. And again, come down towards your left shoulder. You might breathe in as you move your head. Exhale on arrival. And then inhale, rotate again towards your right collarbone. And exhale, let the left ear get heavier. Keep your chin snug towards your throat. And then raise up to center. And let's Take a moment for a snapshot again, what's happening there. Okay, let's bring the back of the right hand across to the outside of the left knee. So when you're coming across, if you can be snug towards the torso, that's great. Also means that your hand a little closer versus how far out the knee is. I do like this pressure of the arm against the torso. And you can secure your right hand with your left. Begin to side bend to your right. So keeping your right arm fixed there, it supports the side bend, and this side bend is giving some, let's say, squeezing first to your left side organs, now to your right side organs. So here you have the liver, the gallbladder, the small intestine, the chin in towards the throat, and you can keep the right ear getting heavy. You might notice the stretch on the left side of your neck, as well as this sort of squeeze opportunity on the right side organ. Let's bring the chin down towards the right shoulder. And then towards your left shoulder, and you might inhale when you're moving your head, and exhale on arrival. And do that one more time. Let's make the rotation smooth, so it should feel like you're not having staccato, but more gelato, I like to say, as you might remember. And we're going to come back up to center. And when you come up again, then take notice. What is the snapshot of your mind? What is the feeling tone of the mind? I'd like you to have 2 yoga blocks now. We're going to do some work with the neck and shoulders from a quadruped position. And I am going to show this because some of you are new to class with me, and I don't want you to get confused. And it's not, I don't know how easy it is for you to see it on Zoom. And if we were at the yoga studio, we would all gather around close, we'd be up taking a look at it. So what I'm going to do is put these 2 yoga blocks, I'm going to stack them. And it's going to be for one elbow, one upper arm, and it's going to be this part of the arm, from the elbow to the mid part of the upper arm. And when you place that arm there, I'm going to ask you to try to put your hand on the same side shoulder. A lot of times when people put their arm overhead, their hand, I feel like it has to cross over to the other shoulder blade because the arm's rotating externally. So you're going to try to put your hand on the same side shoulder. So that you can see my head in this position, I'm going to put my right arm on the block first. So if you watch and then join me, that might be the easiest way to do it. So I'll step into table pose with the right elbow on the block. And then I'm going to put my right hand on my right shoulder, and the elbow's in the middle of the block, so that now when I reach back, there's a space for my head to drop down. The head is not going to run into the block because of where you've placed your elbow. And then the left elbow might touch the floor, it might not, but the right hand stays, hopefully, on the right shoulder blade. And because the elbow is elevated as you reach back, you may feel the right armpit, right side chest, right side waist, right lower back. So join me when you are ready to, and let the head give it permission to relax here, so your neck and your tongue, they can be at ease. And pressing down through your left hand, and also press into your right elbow. Then inhale and raise up to your table pose with your right arm on the block there. And then we're going to release and change sides. Move your blocks over. Place your left forearm in the middle of the block, so the elbow's in the middle. Place your right hand in table pose. Bend your left elbow. Hold your left shoulder. As you reach back, give your head space to drop down. You may find that you can put your right elbow on the floor. You may find that you can't do that.
Either way, it's all right. So you, of course, respect your own body. And then as you breathe in, lengthen through your left side waist, left armpit, maybe the left rib cage, left lower back. And then press down into your right hand and your left elbow, come back up to your table pose. And then release for a moment from there. Okay, so good morning to your neck and shoulders. Continuing that good morning. You might notice that you had a difference left to right. That is very common, of course. Now we're going to take the two blocks and make them like parentheses. No, that's not parentheses, like an equal sign, like this. Okay, place them on the floor. And again, you're going to put your elbow in the middle of the block. What you're going to do with your hands is this. The hands will start together. And then we're going to separate the hands as far as you're able to, because separating your hands is going to move your wrist, it's going to move your forearm, it's going to set your upper arm. Okay, so when you place this time, you're going to go like this. You can watch both elbows are in the middle of the two blocks. I put the palms together. I widen the hands apart. So now my forearms are more or less parallel. And then as you reach back, both arms come overhead, both hands come overhead, and your head can rest down between your elbows and your upper arms. Okay, so go ahead and join me here when you're ready to. And as you're reaching back, try broadening your lower back and the sides of your waist while recognizing that you're really addressing the whole body. One of our focuses is in the neck and the throat. So give your head permission to deeply relax. Press the fingers firmly against each other so your wrists are going to be wide. The forearms stay wide, and therefore the inner edge of the shoulders should be rotating up towards the ceiling, and your shoulder blades should have the sense of broadening on your back, not of narrowing on your back. And then inhale and roll forward. Now, if you can, just go directly with me. Put your palms together like a prayer. Bring your hips and thighs down to the floor and lift up like you're doing, let's say, Sphinx pose, but you're on your elbows. Lift your heart, lift your collarbones, roll the shoulders back, and reach up through the crown of your skull. You can think of those little garden starts you have. I have like 100 of them, so maybe you just have a couple, but think of how they had to push up, especially the squash seeds. They had to push up still wearing their little seed hat, and then they get to overcome that. So press up through the crown of your skull, lift the base of your skull, lift your heart, root into your elbows, set your shoulders back. And then exhale, press into your elbows, raise the lower belly up, and reach back to this position we were just in. Draw your hips back, press the fingers against each other so your wrists are wide, and the shoulder blades are widening across your upper back. And then roll forward again. So as you come forward, you can bring the palms together like a prayer. Press into your thighs, the tops of your feet. Press your kneecaps down, don't lift them up. And as you root the tailbone, then rise up like a little spring start in the garden. And then inhale, press into your elbows, raise your low belly, come up to table pose, walk the knees forward as needed, place your hands on your blocks, and then sit back to virabhadrasana, come back to kneeling. And notice how things feel. So we're going to keep unwinding tension to find our way back down. I sometimes call this the corkscrew method because we're going down. So I'd like you to come up to standing now and take a wide stance. Hi, Bindi. Hi, Pooh. Hi. Hi. How's your morning going? Are there enough birds to watch? What's your sister doing? You gonna go back? Okay. There you go. Be free.
or stay there. Okay, so with a wide stance, please put 2 blocks. We're going to be going under and really trying to explore more of this, the habit of tension we have in the neck and shoulders. So come forward and down, please. And as you come down, place your hands on your blocks or on your cat. And then keeping the right hand fixed where it is. Hi, Bindi. Take the back of your left hand on the outside of the right block, like this. So you're going to make that pretty firm there. And then lean to your left. So you're going to start noticing the left shoulder blade, maybe the left upper back, possibly your left side waist. Let's invite the right arm to stay strong and for your head and the left ear to get heavy. And breathe into the back hemisphere of your body as if you were like when you fluff the comforter on the bed to make the bed. Picture the breath kind of expanding the back of your waist in that same manner. Now press into both feet and into your right arm. And with an inhale, slowly begin to open your left arm out to the side and raise up into a twist to your left. And exhale, let's come back down. Place your left hand on the left block and bring the back of your right hand to the outside of your block. Make that firm. And then begin to lean down and back to the right. So you're really trying to broaden the upper back on the right side, maybe your mid back, right lower back. Allow your head, your right shoulder to get heavy. Keep the left arm strong. So some part of your body right now may feel like it has permission to be limp. That is your head, your right ear. But other parts, we want them to stay toned and stable. Both legs, your left arm, your breath. And as you next inhale, press into both feet. Energize your legs if you need to revive that. And start opening up to your right. Make the left arm strong. And exhale to come back down. Now we'll walk the blocks forward. As you reach back with both hips, make the distance between your sitting bones and your fingertips a comfortably long distance for the breath to travel. And with your right hand staying fixed where it is, bring your left hand under, reach across, and perhaps you'll hold the outside of your right ankle, or maybe you'll hold your yoga pants or you'll hold a strap around your foot if you prefer that. We're going to twist under the right arm, but I'd like you to have the sense that you're leaning into the back hemisphere of the body, that you really respect and enjoy the back body. But we're not grasping for a twist to the right. We're experiencing the back body having a chance to open. And then with your exhale, release the pose. Walk your left hand out to its block without having to look for it. And take your right arm under. Again, it's not so much that we're twisting to the left as that we're leaning back and expanding the back hemisphere of the body, especially on the right side. So hold firmly with your right hand, and that way you can draw back into your right lower back, right mid back, right upper back. Allow the head to be restful. And then with an inhalation, return your right hand to its block. No need to look for the block. You can sense where it is. And walk your hands back towards your feet. Raise them up to your hips, and let's rise up to standing. Come all the way up, and we'll go heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Now, when we're unwinding like this, see what happens when you come up to this snapshot of the mind and the body. Okay, let's take a wide stance. I'd like you to have a block on each side of your mat. And I want to announce that I'm saving time at the end of this class for pranayama. We had a beautiful pranayama session yesterday that will get posted to YouTube. So just like this will get posted to YouTube. So if you missed it, you have the chance to explore it. But I do want to dedicate time for this pranayama at the end of class today. With all this opening, we're not just creating the opening so we can go eat more food and fill it up. I'm just being playful. We're creating this elasticity in the body, this kind of kapha thing in the body, so that when we come to the pranayama, there's a real sense of our stability for the pranayama to bring us to a beautiful place of tranquility and equanimity. So in this wide stance, take your wide stance, it's about the length of one of your legs. Turn the left heel back, turn your right foot directly. Those of us who came from the Iyengar days, we know this is the base for trikonasana. Also for side angle and for warrior. So inhale, sweep your arms wide. Now, toning the legs, especially from your hips down to your heels for grounding. Please come down slowly. You know where your block is. Hopefully your cat isn't chewing on it or putting finger claws in it. Reach up with your left arm. Root down with your right arm. Okay, so in this triangle pose, let's establish, we can just sort of agree upon it together, that we want the feet and legs to be grounded and energized. The muscles of the legs are not on holiday. Press into your right fingers will keep that arm also strong. But now, starting at this like spring shoot, the left hand, I'm going to ask you to bring the left hand and arm down. Okay, rotate your head down. And as you begin to reach down, don't change your legs or your right arm, but reach down towards the floor. See if you can feel into your left upper back, maybe the left mid back. Keep the pelvis where it is. You could picture the back of the heart gets a little more broad, the left kidney more spacious, the left side of the diaphragm a little more spacious. Now, keeping your legs stable means that you haven't rotated your pelvis. So as you press down into your right fingertips, begin to turn the inner belly to your left, then your mid belly, and the upper belly, and your rib cage, and then your heart. Raise your left arm. That's like the spring shoot, reaching for the light. Rotate your head to see if you can look at your left thumb. You might check and see if you're able to see your left thumb with your right eye. That means close your left eye and check and see if you're able to see it. And keep the left outer hip strong. And with your next exhale, raise up to standing while gazing at your left thumb. And then relax both arms and let's come to center. And we can pause here to feel, okay, what is the snapshot of the mind? The neck, which side of your face feels more awake, vibrant? Turn your right heel slightly out, turn the left heel directly out. Okay. Energize the legs. So even the outer hip here is toned. This is called the back leg sometimes. This is called the front leg. But we're going to tone both of the legs. So from your outer hips down to the outer heels, find your sense of grounding. Inhale, sweep your arms wide. And exhale, come slowly. You don't need to look for where the block is. You placed it there. You'll find it. You can adjust it. I just adjusted mine, but it's that kind of willingness to not know where you're going and not have to look every single time. A little bit of playfulness or novelty there. Now again, tone the right outer hip here. So this is not willy-nilly, and we don't want the hips sashaying to the right. So tone from your right outer hip down to your right heel. Energize your left inner thigh and all the way left outer hip down to your left footprint. Okay, keep the left arm strong as well. And let's bring the right arm down. So it's going to drape a little bit like the trunk of an elephant. Relax your head. And you can reach with a little bit of intention here with the right arm, a little bit of active reach, a little bit of surrender in that reach. Notice if you've kept the right outer hip stable and your right footprint firm. I do want you to have the left arm be strong and firm because I'm actually going here for these asymmetrical experiences in your back. So we can stretch the sides, we can stretch the small muscles alongside the vertebrae, larger muscles, latissimus dorsi, for example, some of the intercostals as well. They're not larger, but there's many of them. And let's see if you can press firmly into your left arm. And since the pelvis has not rotated away from position, turn your low belly, turn your mid belly, rotate the upper belly, your heart, raise your right arm and see if you could look up at your thumb. And can you see it with just your left eye? And keeping both legs strong, on your exhale, rise up while still gazing at your right thumb. And then relax both arms. And let's go heel toe to center. Now, notice in both cases that you came up looking at your thumb. We went down, not looking where we were going. So in both cases, I'm asking you not to do the expected thing with your gaze, not to always look, where am I going? Right. Pitta governs the eyes. And sometimes Pitta is governing your schedule or your expectation. So this is a way of bringing in that little bit of a youthful exploration from Kapha dosha and some novelty that Vata dosha benefits from. Let's come to mountain pose. Okay, and noticing the overall felt sense of where you are, we're going to do another standing pose. This time I would like both blocks again to be together, like the equal sign. I could say it that way, not parentheses, but like an equal sign. So place that on your yoga mat, maybe at the front of your mat. Yeah. Okay, now I think it's better for you to see, I think you can see from this angle. Yeah, I'll stay here. So we're going to be coming down into the base of the pose called the lunge pose, sometimes called virabhadrasana 1. But I would like both of those blocks to be on the inside of your right foot. So they're inside, not bookending your right foot, but both to the inside of your right foot. Turn your left heel back so that the left heel is telling your pelvis where you're going. And as the left heel announces that to the pelvis, rotate your hips and your thighs to point towards your right foot. Now let's make the left leg strong. Lift the pubic bone up. You may already be sensing the front of your left hip flexors here. Inhale, raise your arms. And then exhale and bend your right knee. So coming down into warrior 1, a traditional kind of like Iyengar yoga pose. Not that it's not in other places too, but for those who have that background. Keeping your hips shining forward, press back into your left heel. Let's go ahead and tone the left butt muscle. So your pelvis is really stable, not just on the front leg working, but also with the back leg. And then exhale and reach your torso forward. Come over your right thigh. Bring your fingertips down to the 2 blocks that are inside of your right foot. Then make that into flat palms. Keep your right hip snugged in so it's not going to sashay out to the side. For those who'd like to, you can then come down to your elbows on your blocks. Relax the weight of your head. Reach back into your left heel. Keep the right hip snugged to center. The place where people tend to have a leak in the garden hose in this pose is that the right hip sashays out to the right. And it does that because it's a little bit of an escape hatch in the pose.
I'm asking you to close the escape hatches and stay centered in yourself. Now, keeping your left elbow or your left hand on the block where it is, place your right hand up on your right knee and add a twist of your torso to the right. And we want that twist not to be coming from the pelvis, but really to be coming from the inner belly, your rib cage, and your heart. And then as you release, go ahead and come back down to your elbows. And you won't need to readjust your pelvis because you didn't move it. Right? Then place your hands on your two blocks. We have the hands on the inside of the right leg. Start rooting your tailbone down like you're going to go into cat pose. Relax the weight of your head. Feel the back hemisphere of the body. Go ahead and press firmly into both arms. And you can paw your blocks as if you were a cat, when they do that kneading thing. Broaden the back body. Okay, and then come up to your fingertips on your blocks. Again, press into a cat pose spine. Now, root the tailbone with your right hip and be really firm about that. So you're going to rotate to open into side angle pose. Sweep your left arm past your left ear. Beautiful. Yeah, reach along the left side waist into your left heel and up into your left fingers. Let's keep the right outer hip strong, as well as your right outer heel. Now let's raise the left arm up and see if you can look at your left thumb with your right eye. And then inhale, can you raise up to standing while following your thumb? Exhale, relax both arms. Now we're going to turn the feet to be parallel. That means taking your blocks. We're going to go to the other side. Okay, so right heel out, left foot. Place your two blocks. Further back. And rotation, we all have some laxity in your hip joint. Don't collapse into this, don't fall into it. So lift the torso, root your tailbone, have a sense of lifting from here, and then turn while still rooting down. Yeah. So the back heel wants to be firmly grounded. Lift the pubic bone. And as you begin to bend into your left leg, keep the right heel really steady. Raise your arm. If when I said the word Iyengar earlier, you have that history, let me say for now, no need for your fingers to be tense. This is warrior one, virabhadrasana 1. But we're not reaching for something overhead. It's really more important that we feel grounded. So firm your right butt and your right heel. Yes, my goodness. Hello, Bindi. Let's exhale, reach forward. As you come down, place your fingertips on your two blocks. Hi, honey. Oh, yes, that's a nice massage. Come down to your palms, or for those who would like to, you can come down to your elbows. If you choose the elbows, it should not be at the expense of your left hip or your alignment overall. So press firmly into your left outer hip and your left outer heel. So your left hip does not sashay out to the side. Reach back into your right heel Pet the cat. It's only hail out there. Yeah, fewer birds, huh? I'm sorry about that. They'll come again. Yeah. Okay, now if you've got your right elbow on a block or your hand, you can keep that there. Take your left hand to your left knee, please. And then rotate your upper torso, your heart, and the upper belly and the mid belly to your left. You can also turn your head if you like. As you're rotating, keep your pelvis stable and your right leg energized. And then exhale to unwind. What we'll do is we'll come to 2 flat palms on the blocks like you're doing cat pose. We're doing this version of cat pose, not the one that she's doing. So press your spine into flexion. Come up to your fingertips. Press into your cat pose spine and stabilize left outer hip here more firmly in a moment. As you press into your left outer hip and outer heel, begin to open to your right. And my hope is that when you lift like this, you feel like, oh yeah, it has the vitality of spring to it. Doesn't have the hardness of winter. You're not bringing a lot of debris with you. And I'm saying that because of the sequence in class. I'm not saying that you wouldn't have permission to bring some debris to class with you. You take the right arm past your ear. Breathe comfortably and steadily. And then see if you could raise your right arm and look up at it to see your thumb with your left eye. And then with an exhale this time, pull yourself up while following your thumb. Rotate your feet to be parallel. Watch out for the cat. We're going to go heel, toe, step, step to mountain pose. So please come to the mountain pose. Notice the general feeling, like the whole body there. All right, so we found our way down. We went up, we came back up to standing. We're going to go down for a few moments, and we're going to get ready for a special way to do Shavasana. Hi, honey. Hi. Hi, it's so nice. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for visiting. Let's put the blocks like a little diagonal like this. So you have a kind of triangle seat, and come around to sit. So that when you sit down like this, you're going to arrange your blocks so that as you take your seat, you're sitting between the greater trochanter and the sitting bones. Right? So in other words, your sitting bones are not on the blocks. The sitting bones are down below the block. Can I show you? Yeah, maybe you can see like that. In fact, one way to know that you're in the right spot is if you hold your arms around your knees. Feels like you're getting a massage right behind the greater trochanter into the piriformis muscle, among others. Also, if you roll back, you can sense the corners of those blocks going even more. There's your piriformis again. So you're just on different parts of that muscle. It's it's the thickest the longest of this deep six muscles. Hi, honey. What's happening? Everything's okay? Yeah, you just need some connection. Yeah, I got you. You can have connection.
Okay, so as you're sitting in this massage position, see if you can lean back slightly. There's going to be some tender spots, but can you allow for the sitting bones to keep descending? Place the feet so they're hip distance apart now, knees as well. And wrap your left arm across your shins. It's just irresistible. Okay, so left arm across the shins like this. Right hand behind you. Please twist to your right. Now, as you're twisting to your right, keep both sitting bones where they are. So you're still kind of sliding down between those two blocks. It's a kind of massage for these really important muscles deep inside the pelvis. And then come around to face forward. Wrap your right arm across, left arm behind, twist to your left. And come around to face forward. Now, based on how your blocks are, put the left leg under. So now you're going to be sitting so that your left hip, the bone is actually on the block, and the right hip is in the same position as it just was. Okay, wrap the left hand around your right shin. Now the belly is going to be a little bit more snug against the torso. So as you twist the low belly to your right, walk the left hand behind you. Mine doesn't touch the floor with great confidence because we're up on these blocks and I don't have long arm. So you can decide if you'd like another block back there or if it's okay to go for your fingertips. Let's breathe in at a low pelvis. So we've made our corkscrew journey down. And then exhale and come around to face forward and bring the left leg up. Take the right foot down and under. Okay, so you are sitting the right thigh on the block now, and the left thigh and hip are in the same position. So that muscle, that group of muscles right there called the deep six, you're right on those muscles and on some of them. Okay, bring the right hand across, left hand behind, and please twist to your left. And as you're twisting left, you might notice there's a difference for you left to right in your twisting. It's always good to be curious about that. And breathe into whatever your body is asking for right now. And then exhale and come around to face forward. Momentarily put the soles of the feet together. So you're going to sit on the block with both legs. So you're not sitting between the sitting bone and the greater trochanter. Now sit right up on the greater trochanter and come forward.
Allow the head to relax down so it's a restful place to be. And please rise back up to sitting. And let's release the two blocks. And reach for a blanket. I'm going to ask you to
You could have a blanket to cover up with, but this blanket we're going to be using in a special manner, this particular blanket. So open it up, please. And then as you get it laid out, hold it. You're going to have a long rectangle. And do that again, long rectangle. And again, a long rectangle. Okay. And then you can watch here for how we'll set into this Shavasana. And this is optional. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it. I mean, I want you to do Shavasana. I'm saying this position for Shavasana is optional. Okay, so I'm going to put this over the front of my ankles like this. And then lie backwards. Excuse me. And then you have this on the two ankles, but you've also got this extra bit of blanket right here. So you pick up your hips and put the blanket right behind the trochanter. And then when the knees go out to the side, they can't fall further than you're comfortable with. And your sacrum is not quite touching the ground, right? You've got this blanket right behind the trochanter. So the middle of the sacrum and the base of the sacrum are not quite touching, but you may find that as you relax, the top of the sacrum relaxes towards the floor. Your ankles are held by the blanket, so the shins can't really go further out, and the hips are supported here. The knees can't go farther than what is supposed to be your comfort zone. We're going to rest like this for about 2 minutes, and then we'll stretch the legs out straight and resume your basic Shavasana. Okay, so take the arms out to the side. Close your eyes. Allow your mind to drop in like the sand coming through the hourglass. Invite your body to relax in every way that you know how to encourage, from the outer to the inner, all 5 senses. Relax the Ferris wheel of the mind. Most of all, place your attention at the place where the top of your sacrum meets your lumbar spine. Whether or not that's touching the ground, allow that part of your spine to become more and more relaxed. Now, if you find that it's very comfortable, you can stay as you are. Otherwise, this is also a good time to transition, to stretch your legs out for your regular Shavasana.
Allow your mind to drop in more and more deeply. And grant yourself permission to be profoundly at ease. Grant yourself permission to go a little deeper now, even more restful for your mind and your body. You can imagine the mind now having a place of refuge in the body. Slowly wiggle your fingers and your toes. And if you decided not yet to stretch the legs out, go ahead and take them out. If you already have them out, go ahead and wiggle your toes. And we're all going to transition to a seated position for pranayama practice. So create the seat that you need to sit on for this. Take your seat. First, just come again into noticing the snapshot, the impression of how things are for you now.
For this pranayama practice, we're going to be using Anuloma Viloma with Ujjayi. So it's a variation on the two of them. They're combined. What you'll be doing is with Ujjayi breath, we hollow the back of the throat and the breath moves through that space with a silky sound. In Nadi Shodhana, we don't use Ujjayi breathing. They're separate. So when you're inhaling on the left nostril, that'll be Nadi Shodhana. Then you'll exhale Ujjayi, inhale Ujjayi, and we'll exhale right nostril. No Ujjayi for that exhale. And we'll inhale again on the right. We'll exhale Ujjayi, inhale Ujjayi, exhale left. No Ujjayi, but the constriction is that we're using only one nostril. So hold your first two fingers in. Give your thumb and ring finger. And I'll talk us through the first one, but then everyone's pace is going to be their own. So I won't distract you by telling my pace. So first time I will give you the instructions. So close the right nostril. Inhale left, no Ujjayi. And exhale Ujjayi, no pressure on the nostrils. And inhale Ujjayi, no pressure on the nostrils. And then exhale right nostril only, no Ujjayi. And inhale right nostril. And exhale Ujjayi, using the sound of the breath to focus your mind. And then you'll be inhaling Ujjayi. In your own timing, you'll go to left nostril exhale without Ujjayi. And then please continue that same pattern. Now see if you can make the inhales and the exhales equal to each other, whether it's the Nadi Shodhana or the Ujjayi. In Nadi Shodhana, the throat is relaxed. In Ujjayi, you're using the throat as the embouchure for breathing. And we'll complete with your next exhale through the left nostril. At that point, you can rest your hands in your lap. You might take notice if the upper half of the hourglass feels clear. The grains of sand have dropped through, and there's the possibility of an open sky for the mind. Meanwhile, that your body could feel stable and grounded. Just in the silence of the mind, the space prior to, behind, and beyond all thought. Allow your mind to stay at rest, the inner grounding of your body, knowing there's nothing for you to do right now, nothing to undo. Simply rest in the silence that precedes, is beyond, and behind all thought. As we sit for another minute of quiet, allow yourself to have a deepening memory of being still, finding mental stillness to whatever extent you have experienced it. And please raise your hands to your heart. We'll chant this closing prayer, which we say Loka, everyone in the whole world. Loka samasta, everyone equally, sama. Sukhino bhavantu, may they have access to ease, sukhi, and happiness. May there be the attitude, the bhava of that happiness. We recognize that our practice is an honor, and as such it's also a privilege and a responsibility. So may the merits of our practice also flow outwards to others. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. Okay, and once more before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It helps us to keep producing content for you. Also click like on videos that are helpful to you. It's good feedback for me and for the other teachers. And then let us know if you have any questions or comments below the videos, including if you've got questions about yoga teacher training. Go ahead and leave a question for that. We'll be able to pick it up from there and get in touch with you. Okay, thanks, everyone. Take care.